Welcome to another edition of Crime Time with DutyRon. Guys and girls, I'm a retired New York City police detective with 20 plus years of law enforcement. And you know the deal. If you like all things true crime related from a police perspective, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so you'll get all things DutyRon and Ed Wallace when we go live or upload another video. Today, we're going to talk about some updates on the Gonzalo Lopez case. There's some horrific news that's being reported out of Centerville and Leon County. We're going to get into that in a few, and we're going to talk about the preview for tomorrow morning show. We have a rare morning show tomorrow. I have an appointment to go see my cancer doctor for a recheck on my head. So I got to go into New York City tomorrow. So I got the day off. 11 o'clock, 11:15, we're going to do an interview with Sheriff Carmine Mercino. He is the Lee County Sheriff in Florida, and we played some of his videos and some of his kind of take after Uvalde. He made a video, so did Polk County Sheriff's Department, Grady Judd. They made two videos back to back about their response to that mass shooting in Texas and what the state of Florida is doing to keep their children safe in school. I reached out way before that happened because I wanted to interview him a long time ago, and we finally got together with his public information officer, and the sheriff of Lee County, Florida, is going to be on with us tomorrow morning at 11:15 Eastern Standard Time. That's not Pacific, that's Eastern Standard Time. So we're going to talk about that. But before we get into it, I want to say a special thank you to the Patreon supporters, the channel members, and all the folks who positively engage in this community. You're what makes this a great place. And I give thanks and praise to each and every one of you for liking, subscribing, engaging, leaving comments, chatting with me, chatting with Ed. I can't say enough great about everybody here. Hello, Rose. Good to see you. Moonlight View. Nancy is here. Sana Elise Holt Johnson, 9 months as a member. I thank you. I give thanks and praise to all the members. Thank you, Lee Perry, for praying for DutyRon. I want to also, while we're on the prayer part, our great friend, Sergeant Bill Cannon, retired homicide detective sergeant, is in surgery. Probably, maybe he's out by now, but he had a hip replacement today, and he's in the hospital, and he just had surgery to have a new hip done. He did one side a couple of years ago, and he had his surgery this morning. I sent him a message on behalf of all of Crime Time with DutyRon and the community. We wish him well. We send him thanks and praise for all the time that he takes out to educate us on police off the cuff with Sergeant Bill and Detective Phil. So we're sending big prayers and hugs to Bill Cannon on a successful surgery. He's in the hospital. He'll be in there overnight. So please, everybody, leave some messages for him down below in the comments section after the video is over. Give him some hugs and prayers in the chat. I know Bill will watch, and he'll be greatly appreciative of that. Definitely love and respect Bill Cannon for all the time and education that he gives to all of us. So lots of prayers for Bill Cannon, good friend of Crime Time with DutyRon, good friend with me personally. So I'm wishing you well, Bill. Come on back. You know, knowing him, he might even do a live stream from his hospital room tomorrow with a new hip. You know, it's not, if you know Bill Cannon and Police Off the Cuff, that's not out of his wheelhouse. He may go live from the hospital. You never know with Bill. So I have the day off tomorrow to do the interview, but mainly to go and get a checkup of the surgery that I had here. This is the scar right here. It's not really too bad. I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see this. I got 12 stitches in the front of my head. Let's see if this will work. Of course, it's not going to work. All right. Me and technology. Technology stinks for me. Yeah, he's going to have some Cabernet, Gail. He'll probably have some Cabernet after he comes off of the anesthesia and all of the stuff that they put him on to do the surgery. But, you know, getting a hip replaced it's kind of a routine surgery, but it's a big surgery, man. That's not like having orthoscopic knee surgery. They really got to open you up, you know. So at DutyRon, redirect set up for tomorrow's video. Okay, so thank you, Josh. So tomorrow's video at 11:15, it will redirect straight from the end of this video. So for those of you who want to set a reminder for tomorrow, 11:15 p.m. Why am I stuck on the p.m.? 11:15 a.m. Carmine Mercino. He is the sheriff of Lee County, Florida, and he's got a strong message for any active shooter that wants to try to attempt anything against the children of Lee County. And the Lee County sheriff, he comes from Long Island. That's another reason I was attracted to him. I wanted to have an interview with him because he used to work out in Suffolk County. So he's from my area. So he's a Long Island guy. So Lee Perry says, DutyRon, in your class and manners, you sent me to Sergeant Bill Cannon and Phil. I love them right off the bat. And I thought it was so thoughtful of you to ask us to check them out. Of course, I'm going to always try to put you guys in the right direction, right? Lisa says, that's my county. Awesome, Lisa. Awesome. Is Lee County your county or Suffolk County yours? Just curious. So again, I want to say thank you to everyone who's wishing Sergeant Bill Cannon retired, all of his supporters who are, as he says, we cross-pollinate them, right? We cross-pollinate our subscribers. DutyRon, Bill Cannon isn't having anything today. He's out of it. He is out of it. I'm not sure what that means, Rose, but I talked to him this morning. He was waiting to go into surgery. So unless they canceled it, I don't think so. But nonetheless, we're sending prayers for Bill Cannon because last I spoke to him early this morning, he was waiting to go in to have surgery. DutyRon is on the job, says Mel. All right, listen, let's get into it. So Gonzalo Lopez, we have some horrific news to report. We've come to find out that he not only killed the 5 members of the Collins family, an 18-year-old, 16-year-old, 16-year-old, 11-year-old, and the grandfather, 66 years old, he stabbed them as well. To make it that much worse and that much more a horrific crime, this animal stabbed these kids and the grandfather, and he shot them. That just goes to show you what kind of a brutal, sick monster Gonzalo Lopez was. And I mean, the people of Centerville and Leon County and Houston, Texas, where the Collins family comes from, are heartbroken and distraught. But when you add this violent element into this crime, it just makes it it compounds it. I mean, it's bad enough, the loss of life, right? But man, when you hear the details, and we're going to play a news report. If you suffer from PTSD or any type of, if you're really, if this kind of stuff bothers you, I'm giving you a, trigger warning here. Step out, come back in a few minutes. I'm going to play this report for you guys. And again, it's not for the faint-hearted, that's for sure. So here we go, folks. This is Gonzalo Lopez and the news report.
And we begin with disturbing new details surrounding the murder of a grandfather and his 4 grandsons, allegedly by the hands of escaped inmate Gonzalo Lopez. Tonight, we take you next door to the cabin where the 5 innocent victims were found dead. ABC 13's Jessica Willey joining us now from Centerville with all the latest details. Jessica.
Yeah, Maida, we're talking about a ruthless killer. This man was a hitman for the cartel, serving a life sentence for capital murder. Police shot and killed him last night after a short chase south of San Antonio. Tonight, we have learned that he both stabbed and shot his victims. And TDCJ, those in charge of the search, had evidence he was still in the area this week, just days before all of this happened yesterday. Yet people here didn't even know.
So I got to stop it there because this is what gets me freaking wound up. This is what I was going nuts about yesterday in my backyard. For those of you who are in the chat and you were on the live stream in the backyard where I spoke about Gonzalo Lopez and the injustice that local and state corrections, how they failed the people of Leon County. and they failed the people of Centerville by not notifying them that this brutal killer was breaking into homes. And all they had to do is make a notification, for Christ's sake. All they had to do is make a notification to these people that, hey, there's something up here. And we could have averted 5 innocent people from being killed. I got to go back. I got to go back to what this woman's saying, because this statement here is, it's earth-shattering. It just makes me want to scream.
Stabbed and shot his victim. Tonight we have learned that he both stabbed and shot his victims, and TDCJ, those in charge of the search, had evidence he was still in the area this week, just days before all of this happened yesterday, yet people here didn't even know. At such a peaceful place, a horrible discovery. A grandfather, Mark Collins, and his 4 grandsons in the country to fish, tortured and killed by an escaped inmate. Gonzalo Lopez managed to elude hundreds of searchers and dogs for weeks after escaping and crashing a prison transport bus. Intense manhunts were pared back, yet a break-in at this house earlier this week revealed Lopez never left the area.
It's heartbreaking considering that those folks have been coming up here for many, many years.
According to ABC 13 sources, authorities lifted fingerprints at the house that matched Lopez's. Camouflage clothing was missing, and so was food from the fridge.
All right, I got to stop it there, because we had the Tieperman family who had a graduation party in their backyard. We had the Tieperman family on with us. Kayla, I guess, Kayla puts in the chat, a family was having a graduation party. That's Melanie and Robert Tieperman. His daughter graduated high school, and they had 30 people in their yard. They said it right here on Crime Time with DutyRon. This is the house that he broke into and used the shower and was using buckets of water to clean himself off. This is the house who noticed the spike in electricity, and that was Monday. The murders took place on Thursday. So all day Monday, all day Tuesday, all day Wednesday, and into Thursday morning, they had a chance to notify the community and the people of Centerville, Leon County, and they didn't notify. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Somebody has to pay for this. The blood of these four young kids, 18 down to 11, and a 66-year-old grandfather are dead because of incompetence and a lack of knowledge of notifications. They could have gotten everybody together. They could have called the press conference. They could have sat in front of that restaurant and said, Denny's or whatever it is, the DQ. They could have been out in front of there just like they were doing on a nightly basis. And they could have called an emergency press conference and warned the folks of Leon County that there's something amiss, something's bad going on. But they failed to do that. And 5 people lost their lives. 5 people. Despicable. Horrific.
Given this week to remain vigilant or stay out of the area. They believe more could have been done.
We have to go back to the drawing board and figure out how that happened. At the end of the day, we will conduct a serious incident review.
A memorial of balloons and flowers now mark a place where there used to be so much joy.
Those kids were bright, shining stars.
In Centerville, Jessica Willey, ABC 13. It's in the country to fish, tortured.
I just got to go back for a minute because I want to hear this whole thing and without me interrupting it. Let's let it play. It just gets me so worked up, man. It really gets me very worked up. Give me 2 seconds here. Gets me so darn worked up. I almost don't know what to say. You know, it's just sickening.
Here didn't even. Horrible discovery. A grandfather, Mark Collins, and his 4 grandsons in the country to fish, tortured and killed by an escaped inmate. Gonzalo Lopez managed to elude hundreds of searchers and dogs for weeks after escaping and crashing a prison transport bus. Intense manhunts were pared back, yet a break-in at this house earlier this week revealed Lopez never left the area.
It's heartbreaking considering that those folks have been coming up here for many, many years.
According to ABC 13 sources, authorities lifted fingerprints at the house that matched Lopez's. Camouflage clothing was missing, and so was food from the fridge. With permission, we were on property. It is adjacent to the Collins house. Lopez was just a few hundred yards away when the 66-year-old arrived with his grandsons, brothers Waylon, Carson, and Hudson, and their cousin Bryson on Thursday, likely not knowing the cartel hitman had been right next door.
I don't know that they were ever made aware of that. I do feel that had Mark been made aware that he was within a day or two of being on his property, he would have never exposed those kids to that danger.
While the escape and search early on was widely known, residents tell ABC 13 no alert was shared or advice given this week to remain vigilant or stay out of the area. They believe more could have been done.
We have to go back to the drawing board and figure out how that happened.
Disgusting.
At the end of the day, we will conduct a serious incident review.
A memorial of balloons and flowers now mark a place where there used to be so much joy.
Those kids were bright, shining stars.
In Centerville, Jessica Willey, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
And back here in the Houston area, the grieving has begun for that grandfather and his 4 grandchildren. Shelly Childers spent the day in the hometown of Tomball, and there was quite a bit of show of support at the high school earlier today, Shelly.
That's right, Maida. Hundreds of people filled Tomball High School's baseball field earlier, but it was here at the family's longtime church where we learned more about Mark Collins and his 4 grandsons, Waylon, Carson, Hudson, and Bryson, as Jessica just mentioned, described as shining stars. Heartbreak in Tomball tonight for the Collins family, losing brothers 16-year-old Carson, 11-year-old Hudson, and 18-year-old Waylon, along with their grandfather Mark and their 11-year-old cousin Bryson. And today that grief was shared inside their longtime family parish, Houston Northwest Church.
I can say unequivocally that they are a family of the greatest character, the deepest faith, and unrelenting kindness and love.
While simultaneously across town, hundreds gathered at the Tomball High School baseball field to grieve and honor the 4 cousins who were all Tomball ISD students, the oldest 18-year-old Waylon graduating just last week.
Waylon Grant Collins.
The school district releasing this statement saying in part, the loss of a student for any reason is heartbreaking, but to lose 4 in such a tragic way is excruciating. And our thoughts and prayers are with the family and friends of these beloved students and grandfather.
What has happened to the Collins family is just unspeakable. Those kids were bright, shining stars. We coached them through baseball.
Heart-wrenching. God.
And these next few days are going to be tough on all of us.
The pain evident on every face at this baseball field as silent mourners hugged, held hands, and wiped tears, filling the pitcher's mound with flowers and candles for the baseball-loving boys.
The whole community here has suffered a loss. It's going to be unfillable.
In Tomball, Shelly Childers, ABC 13 Eyewitness.
Yeah, I can't. It's just unbelievable, folks. You know, that as a community and baseball coaches and graduations, there's a video out there. I'm not going to play it, of one of the boys coming across the stage for his high school graduation just, you know, a week or so before. It just tugs at your heartstrings, you know. So it's horrifying. It's horrifying. You know, we have all the senseless loss of life that's happening across the country. Uvalde, you know, Buffalo, just tons of shootings and mass shootings over the weekend. So we got to come together as a country. We got to come together as a nation and support and try to do better. Which brings me to the point of that, the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, local police, if they knew about it, don't forget, Centerville and the Jewett police officer, when Melanie Tieperman and Braxton Tieperman filmed Gonzalo Lopez running across the field, they have a responsibility as well. Corrections first and foremost. They lost this guy, right? But local police too, are responsible for protecting their citizens. So local police, I hope and pray that they didn't know about Gonzalo Lopez, but something in my heart tells me that they did. And if that in fact is true, then that's double whammy right there. You're responsible for public safety as police and corrections officials, the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. They dropped the ball. And somebody said in the chat, the reporter said that they were tortured. Please tell me that they weren't tortured. They were. I don't have the details. I mean, I heard some speculation in some of the local chat rooms, but I never go on speculation. But for the reporters to put that out there, they need to vet that information. Thank you, Sonalise Holt Johnson. Thank you, Ron Daniels. And thank you, Jamie Bailey. It's impossible not to cry. Send love and light prayers to everybody. It is. I've cried a lot over this. Jamie Johnson says that Jewett police officer should have shot every round he had. I don't believe he should have shot every round he had, because you need to at least have a couple of rounds for an emergency if someone's coming at you. But certainly take your time, get some sight alignment, and use your breathing. And that's a long distance to shoot somebody from. But, if he would have acted right away out of the gate when Gonzalo was coming out of the bus, and Melanie said that she saw the Jewett police officer right there on scene when Gonzalo Lopez got out of the bus and climbed over the fence, a short little wired fence. At that point right there, it's less than a 25-yard hit. Even if he would have shot him in the leg or hit him anywhere and wounded him, at least he would have went running away. And from the wound, he would have dropped. So shoulda, coulda, wouldas. We don't live in that world. But, good to see you, Gary. Thanks for joining. So there's a lot of explaining to do here, and all the explaining in the world can't bring these people back. And we need to do better. We need to do better as a nation, as a society, as law enforcement branches need to do better. Criminal justice, the corrections department. Listen, we as cops take these bad scumbags off the street and lock them up. Criminal justice system takes over after we make the summary arrest, right? So once we lock them up and put them in jail, and criminal justice takes over and they get tried and found guilty, then corrections, it's their job. We heard from Anthony Ganji at Tier Talk. Behind the walls, they're responsible. When they transport those scumbags to medical appointments and such and so forth, the onus is on corrections to make sure that these vile monsters, he tortured and killed somebody with a pickaxe and got sentenced for capital murder. He took several shots at police officers and got sentenced to attempted capital murder. Now he tortures, stabs, and shoots 5 innocent human beings because the Texas Department of Corrections, the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, that's the Texas Department of Corrections, up. They in a big way. And they need to pay. And they need to completely revamp the system that they have. There's no transporting of dangerous murderers, evil monsters with just 2 correction officers. There's just no way that that should happen. And if it's happening, it's got to stop. If that was status quo, if that was business as usual, that shit's got to stop right now, because all of our lives are in danger. And I'm one of the lucky ones who can be armed. I'm one of the lucky ones who is legally able to be armed. There's so many citizens and honest citizens in the United States who probably could qualify to be armed, but either don't want to be or just they can't get a permit. And people like that running around, it's just a travesty of justice. Hey, listen, I got a treat for you guys. Ed Wallace is here, and he's coming in from his mobile. So this is how dedicated Ed Wallace is. So joining us now on Crime Time with DutyRon, Ed Wallace. Hey, how are you, brother?
Good, Ron. Can you hear me?
Yeah, of course.
All right. Yeah. So I'm driving in the car, like I told you. I had to pull over and jump on because, you know, I was I was getting all emotional just as you were, you know, dealing with these issues, listening to that public information officer talk about what's going to happen next. It's tugging at my heart. I'm heartbroken too. Sleepless nights about what happened here. And so I'm in my car driving to my Jersey house. And so I pulled over at a Garden State Parkway rest stop to jump on with you.
Yeah, thank you, Ed. You know, again, I had every intention of just really covering our preview for the sheriff in Lee County tomorrow. And you know what? I'm going to ask him tomorrow just a little bit about this. I'm going to ask him if he, you know, I know that he knows about this, but, you know, we're going to have him on to talk about just school safety and our children, right? That's a whole nother issue. But this involves an 11-year-old boy and a 16-year-old, 2 16-year-olds and an 18-year-old and a 66-year-old grandfather. And the crazy part is the knowledge, the prior knowledge that they had. And like you said, where was the reverse 911 notification? Where was any attempt? Melanie Tieperman said there was no attempt. It's crazy, Ed.
Once they identified the fingerprints, once they have identified the break-in and or DNA, well, just the break-in alone, just the break-in, okay? They should have made calls out immediately. Okay. Now, apparently, right, from what we're being told, they were notified because of the homeowners were monitoring their electric and their water.
Yeah.
And they saw a spike in electric use and water use when they're not there.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm so pissed off right now. I'm you know again, you know, we've gotten criticized from time to time by people that watch our show, saying that we're being too critical of the police and so forth. And I say it again, we call it as we see it. And, you know, we're told, you know, don't criticize unless you've walked a mile in somebody's shoes. Well, you and I both worked more than a mile in these shoes, and we know what's right and we know what's wrong in our profession. Okay. And we're just calling it as we see it. I take no joy. In fact, it pains me to highlight, you know, when we screw up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we screwed up here, and 5 people paid for it with their lives.
100%. And, you know, people have to understand that, you know, Ed and I are retired quite some time now, but we are still close to law enforcement. Ed teaches law enforcement on a regular basis. I watch closely what goes on in the community. Just because we're retired doesn't mean that we lose touch with what's going on. But like Ed just said, when we see something that's not right, and in this situation, it was not right from the get-go. It was being there was miscommunication from Robert Hurst, the TDCJ spokesman, from the get-go. And Ed and I called foul on that immediately. And this carried on throughout this whole investigation. Him telling people, go back to your normal lives, but if you see something that doesn't look right, call the police. Well, nothing looked wrong when these people came back to the house. In fact, they had no knowledge that Gonzalo Lopez was anywhere near in this community. when he broke into a home 300 yards away from their home, right? The next adjacent home to the Collins property. He broke in, stole that gully suit, and used electricity, took money, took probably, who knows, firearms. We're not getting anything. We don't know if the firearms came from inside the Collins home or this home that we looked at, the smaller, less upkept home that we saw there that they call them ranches. But who cares? This guy had an AR-15 and a handgun, a sidearm, and he tortured, stabbed, and shot these poor kids. And I might have gotten the ages wrong, the two 11-year-olds, 16-year-old, 18-year-old, 66. Listen, I'm emotional right now, and I don't have the paperwork right in front of me. But the bottom line is these are senseless crimes that could have been avoided. These people didn't have to be murdered. And if they would have notified the community, chances are they would not. As you heard, the high school coach and the clergy member, they would have not gone to Centerville and hung out there for a weekend of fishing and hanging out if they knew that a dangerous murderer was on the loose in the community.
We don't know exactly all that was done here. We're this seems like there was a lot of residences up here that are part-time residences where people come and get out of the big city and vacation and so forth. So they're not there all the time. But efforts should have been made to reach out to all the homeowners because they're paying taxes in this community. Okay, they're paying county taxes. The effort should have been made to reach out to all of these homeowners, whether they were in the living there or part-time residents there, and said, hey, we checked your property and we didn't find anything, or in the case, as soon as they found the break-in and then evidence that this guy is there, oh, this guy's still in the community, be on the lookout. And, reverse 911 to all the homes and reach out to them, and then recheck all the homes, get boots on the ground again and go and recheck all the homes in this community to see if there's any signs of break-in in any place else.
Right.
Yeah. At least at a minimum, the notification to the people. And then, there's no way this grandfather would have took his grandchildren and put them in that risk if he would have known these facts.
Definitely not. And the people who know Mr. Collins know him better than obviously we do. And they're all saying, I watched 5-6 interviews of people from the community there that know him. And you heard that woman who was she looked like she was a waitress at one of the local diners or local eating establishments. She said they've been coming up there for 40 years. I mean, it's just crazy, Ed. And having the prior knowledge of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, those 3 solid days where they could have gotten together, the executives from the TDCJ, the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, the executives had 3 whole solid days to say, hey, we need to do something. We need to notify the community. This guy's breaking in. We have his DNA. For Christ's sake, they had his DNA in the shower. That's confirmed. I got that confirmation today. They had his freaking DNA in that house, the house that they showed, the very first house that's adjacent to the Collins property. So he was probably going back and forth to a nice place, to his hideout, to out with the gully suit out into the field. But the bottom line is, Ed, they had time to make these notifications.
Hey, Ron.
What?
Ghillie suit.
Whatever, ghillie, gully, it doesn't matter. You guys know what I'm talking
about. Splatter, it doesn't matter.
All right, thanks, Ed. I know you're a teacher and you got to correct me all the time, but yes. Okay, so
I'm Scottish too, and ghillie suits are Scottish. So
okay, all right, so the go. All right, but he's out there. He's utilizing all kinds of hunting gear from these hunting ranches, and they had time to make that notification, and they failed to do it. So shame on them. But you know what? This is when you look at the new Texas public information guy saying, "Oh, we got to start over. We got to go back to the drawing board." Really, guy? How about putting out an apology to the Collins family? How about saying we screwed up? Transparency. There's no transparency here because they have given nothing since the night he was killed, which was last Thursday. We've heard a big donut. We've heard nothing from them. Ed, what happened to your hand? Do you want to talk about the Band-Aid on your hand there?
So, folks, I was weeding the garden at my house in Jersey, where we have lovely rose bushes. And I wasn't wearing gloves. I didn't think this was going to be an issue because the weeds were low. But anyhow, I was yanking on a bunch of weeds, and my hand went into the bush, and a thorn broke off underneath the skin. And it became very difficult to get it out. It was a big thorn, and it was deep under the skin. I finally got the right tools that I needed, and I yanked it out and cleaned it up with some hydrogen peroxide and some triple antibiotic ointment. But it looks like it may have gotten a little infected.
Hey, will this affect your performance tomorrow with the interview of Lee County Sheriff Carmine?
Not in the least.
All right, good. So yeah, I just wanted to move along because 11:15 a.m. tomorrow, Ed and I will have the Lee County Sheriff from Lee County, Florida. He's going to join us. We're going to talk about active shooters and school safety, and some of his ideas moving forward for for his community down there, and maybe we can, have some states catch on to some of the things that they're doing. And he did something very controversial just about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. He arrested a 10-year-old kid who made terroristic threats that he was going to shoot up the school on social media. And they arrested him, handcuffed this 10-year-old, and did a perp walk out. Did you see that, Ed?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. So we're going to talk to him about that and some of the backlash that he might have gotten from it. But it's going to be an interesting conversation with the Lee County Sheriff, and he's the highest ranking official in Lee County, which is a huge county in Florida. And we're going to, I just can't wait to talk with him. He's a great guy. And I think it's going to be interesting tomorrow. Any thoughts on that, Ed? Are you excited about it? You got some stuff?
Yeah, I am. I'm excited to speak to him. I liked his presentation. I like how he gets out in front and communicates to his constituents, because he is an elected official. And I like how he refers to his officers as his family. There's a lot of things I like about this guy, and I think his community is well served by having him as the sheriff. He's a no nonsense guy. Yeah, folks, I see the tetanus shot. I had the tetanus shot. I'm good. Thank you for your concerns. Look
at this. Look, all right, there's the tetanus shot from Gilly D. Is that the Gully suit, Ed? Or
yeah. Okay. When I see you in person, I'm going to give you a smack in the back of the head, Ron. It's Gilly suit. Okay.
I like it. I like to say Gully. I'm
Gully.
Say Gully.
Because what are you, in a gully or you're in a gilly?
All right, wait. I want to highlight one more comment before I play this next clip, and I know you got to get traveling. So, Karen L says, "I respect Carmine, but I also think he's hot." God. Woo-hoo. I tell you, these ladies, they're uncontrollable here on Crime Time. Again, Ed, I appreciate you pulling over. I don't want to, hold you up here, because this is just a preview for tomorrow. I'm hoping that everybody that's here when this live stream ends, Josh has that new feature set up where it redirects right to the scheduled live stream for tomorrow. So while it redirects you there, just hit the reminder bell. And then give it a little thumbs up, and then you guys will be all set for tomorrow at 11:15 a.m. Eastern Standard. And I know a lot of you guys it'll be outside of your time zone, because we never go live at that time. I think the last time we did that was with Brian Enton, right? We went early with him.
Yeah. Hey, and folks, if you want to see what some of the training is like for active shooter or school shootings, you can go to I posted the NCBRT website, the National Center for Biomedical Research and Training website that lists those trainings in previous posts. But you can Google that, and there's also you can do searches NCBRT active shooter course or NCBRT school shooting course on YouTube, and you can actually see videos of the training that we do at LSU, Louisiana State University's National Center for Biomedical Research and Training. And we give these courses all over the nation to law enforcement to prepare them for such things as these school shootings.
Right. Yeah. Active shooters. Yep. And you know what? That's a valuable resource. So what I'm going to have Josh do is link that up on DutyRon.com so everybody can just go over and click on the link and look and watch some of that information. I'm going to play the sheriff's clip, and it's about 8 minutes. I know you got to get running, Ed. I don't want to let you sit there listening, but thank you for checking in. We'll see you tomorrow at 11:15 a.m. Ed Wallace on his way down. Are you going to finish? Are you going to finish the weed pulling, or did you complete that mission yesterday?
I completed it after, after I got the thorn in I pulled it out and I went and completed it. So
all right,
I'm all good.
Will you be wearing a gully suit or a ghillie suit while you do that?
A ghillie suit.
Okay, fair enough.
I do have one.
I would like to see you with one on one time.
You would recognize me as a bush.
All right, Ed Wallace, drive safely. Thank you for checking in, and we're going to finish up. We'll wrap it up with Carmine.
See you guys tomorrow.
Ciao, Ed. Ciao. All right, there he goes, Ed Wallace. All right, he's always correcting me because I am not. I don't pronounce things properly, but that's what makes me DutyRon. I'm just a regular guy. All right, here's Sheriff Carmine Marcino, Lee County Sheriff, talking about active shooters in schools. We're going to play this. He's going to be our guest tomorrow. So, folks, whoever is here, set the reminder when you get redirected to the live for tomorrow. But this is his message for active shooters, and he did this shortly. This was his response to Uvalde, to the shooting in Texas.
Hi, I'm Lee County Sheriff Carmine Marcino. America, wake up. Yet another headline. Not surprising. Yet another moment of silence. Not surprising. While the theme doesn't change, the only thing that changes is the incident location. We spend over $50 billion in helping out the Ukraine. How much of that money goes to target hardening our schools, school safety, making sure that our children come home, which is most important, paramount? Well, I'm here to tell you today, in Lee County, Florida, we have warriors. My family members are warriors. When a law enforcement officer takes that oath and puts that gun and badge on his hip, you say to the rest of the world that your life does not mean as much as a person that you serve. In our schools, over 100,000 children go to school. Over 118 schools in Lee County. And I want to take a moment and thank the great residents of Lee County, the parents, the spouses, the husbands, the wives, the guardians, the grandparents, and all of you that trust in me as your sheriff and trust in my family that you can drop your child off and that we are going to make certain your child is safe. Safe kids, safe schools is paramount. Our great Governor DeSantis has made it very clear by giving me and all the sheriffs and law enforcement across our great state all the tools that we need to absolutely make certain that our mission is complete, and that is safety and law and order. This is not a political issue. It doesn't matter if you are a libertarian or a Republican or no party affiliate. This is a human issue. Being a human being and a good human being. Active shooter training. How you train is how you perform. We train 7 times the amount here in Lee County, dictated by Florida state statute, to ensure that how you train is how you perform. My family members, without hesitation, not waiting 1 second, are ready for anything that comes our way. My policy is very simple. When we get that dreaded call God forbid, get that dreaded call. We don't wait 1 second. We don't wait 1 second for any person or persons that go into a school where our children are and they present deadly force. They will be met with deadly force immediately. We are going to kill them. We're not going to hesitate. We're not going to wait. We come to work every day to do our job. So when that suspect, that person or persons make that fatal error, it's on them. You don't get to come into a school in our county and hurt our children. You don't get to present deadly physical force in Lee County, where you walk into a school where our teachers, faculty, and staff are there protecting and teaching our children. It's our responsibility to make certain they are safe. It's our responsibility to make certain they go to school to learn. And parents, I appreciate you reaching out. For the past couple days, I've had many calls and many text messages asking me, Sheriff, what is your plan? Sheriff, do you wait? Sheriff, if something happens, what are you going to do? And I'm here today to tell you, I understand and appreciate exactly why you have that concern. You watch every day as more facts, unfortunately, unfold in yet another school shooting. Never, never overlook red flags. I say, see it, say it, make the call. And the great residents of this county help us every day by doing that. And most importantly, have law and order for any person that thinks differently. I call you 1%ers. The 1%ers that think I'm here maybe talking because I want publicity or press. I'm going to tell you, haters are motivators. And if you have an issue with me saying we meet deadly force with deadly force, or you have an issue with me saying when someone presents deadly force against our children, we are absolutely going to annihilate and kill them, then I don't want your vote. I don't care what you think. And we have no issue in talking about that because there's nothing else to say. Our children are helpless. We always have to help those that cannot help themselves. Our schools are going to be safe. The team behind me dedicates their lives to safety, and that's the choice they made when they became a sworn law enforcement officer. Because while the rest of America runs away from a chaotic situation, these are the heroes that go in and take care of business. I want to thank the parents of all the children, 100,000 children that go to school in Lee County, for trusting in my family, the Lee County Sheriff's Office, when you kiss your loved one goodbye to send them to school. Thank you for having the confidence in your sheriff's office that we will absolutely protect them and make certain they come home, which is most important. I promise you in closing, we will do everything possible to mankind, leaving no resource behind, sparing no expense. When it comes to a child's life, there's nothing more precious. And your sheriff's office, the Lee County Sheriff's Office, is ready for anything that comes our way. And your sheriff's office will engage immediately, and our training will kick in. And once again, that threat will be eliminated, and we will kill anyone that tries to hurt our children. God bless you, and God bless America.
Wow. What a powerful speech right there. And he is going to be joining us tomorrow at 11:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you can't make the live stream, make sure you go and hit the reminder bell and watch the replay, because you're not. This is going to be a phenomenal live. We're going to ask a lot of the tough questions. We're going to talk about Uvalde. We're going to talk about some of the past shootings in Florida, school shootings, Parkland, to name a few. We're going to talk about the future for our children. Is it safe to send your kids to school? I'm reading online that parents are trying to get themselves ready to homeschool their children because they're afraid, they're petrified to send them to school. So we're going to talk to Carmine tomorrow. Sheriff Messino from the Lee County Sheriffs will be joining us live in uniform. The highest ranking official in Lee County in the Sheriff's Department. He's got a massive police department there, and we're going to talk to him tomorrow, me and Ed, 11:15 a.m. on Crime Time with DutyRon. The end of this live is going to redirect you to that actual scheduled live stream. So you'll find yourself landing on the scheduled live. If you're not yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you'll get all things DutyRon and Ed Wallace when we go live or upload another video. We are in negotiations to get Sheriff Grady Judd to come on with us as well. I think after he sees Sheriff Carmine Messino come on, he may join us again sometime in the future. So look for that again coming very soon to a theater near you. And I think this is going to be a great engagement, a great open conversation and interview with the sheriff tomorrow morning. All right, I'm looking forward to see all of you here tomorrow and in the future. As I like to end all of these live streams, I like to say, God bless the world, God bless the United States of America, and God bless each and every one of us here in the chat, but especially all victims of crime and their families. The victims over in Uvalde and across the globe who have been met with gunfire and have died innocently. What happened in Centerville, Texas, to the 5 Collins family members and countless others, we send them strength, prayers, and positive vibes. Santa Elise Holt Johnson, thank you for the super sticker. Much appreciated. Guys, I'll see you tomorrow, 11:15 a.m. Thank you to the replay viewers and everyone who has joined us today. You guys are awesome. I love you, I respect you, and I thank you. See you tomorrow, 11:15 a.m. Peace and love from DutyRon.